In the 18th century, the economist Adam Smith posed a riddle that haunts human behavior to this day. He called it the paradox of value. Water is the most essential substance on Earth. Without it, you die in 3 days. It creates life. It sustains civilizations. Yet water is free. We flush it down the toilet. We leave the tap running while we brush our teeth. We do not respect it. Diamonds, on the other hand, are useless. You cannot eat them. You cannot drink them. They have zero survival utility. Yet men have started wars for them. People spend 3 months' salary to buy a tiny rock. We lock them in steel vaults.
Why? Because water is abundant and diamonds are scarce. The human brain is biologically wired to devalue what is easily accessible. We ignore the air we breathe until we are choking. We ignore our health until we are sick. And we ignore the people who are always there for us until they leave. If you are always available, if you answer every text in seconds, if you say yes to every favor, if you are an open book, you have made yourself water. You are useful, you are necessary, but you are not valued. You have flooded the market with your own presence, and the market has adjusted your price to zero. To become a diamond, you must understand the scarcity principle. You must learn the power of withdrawal. As Robert Greene wrote in the 48 Laws of Power, the more you are seen and heard, the more common you appear. In this video, we will show you the economics of desire. We will analyze the history of the De Beers cartel and the Hermès Birkin bag. We will look at the neuroscience of dopamine prediction errors, and we will give you the protocol to go from being always there to hard to get. Welcome to Umbra Decode. It is time to close the tap. To understand why people get bored of you, we must look at microeconomics. There's a law called the law of diminishing marginal utility. It states that the satisfaction you get from consuming a good decreases with every additional unit you consume. The first bite of steak is heaven. The 10th bite is a chore. The 20th bite is torture.
This applies to your attention. When you first meet someone, your attention is the first bite of steak. It is validating. It is exciting. But if you bombard them with texts, calls, and affection without them earning it, you are force-feeding them the 20th steak. You are creating a surplus. Psychologically, when humans sense a surplus, they disengage. They feel suffocated. They pull away not because they hate you, but because they are physically full.
Now, imagine a drought. When water is scarce, people will wait hours for a single drop. They will cherish it. This is the state you want to engineer. You want to keep the people around you in a state of mild thirst, never dehydrated, but never fully satisfied. This keeps their attention fixed on you, waiting for the next drop. Let's look at the greatest scam in history. In the late 19th century, massive diamond mines were discovered in South Africa. Suddenly, diamonds were no longer rare. The market was about to be flooded. The financiers knew that if the supply hit the market, diamonds would become as cheap as turquoise. The illusion of value would shatter. So they formed a cartel called De Beers. They bought every mine, they took all the diamonds, shipped them to London, and put them in a vault. They created artificial scarcity. They controlled the supply tap. They only released a tiny amount of diamonds each year, just enough to meet demand, but never enough to satisfy it. Then they launched a marketing campaign to increase demand. They invented the engagement ring. They told men that the size of the rock was a direct measure of their love and their status. They famously suggested a man should spend 2 months' salary. Why? Because high price signals high value. If diamonds were cheap, nobody would want them on a ring. The pain of paying for it is what makes it valuable. You are the mine owner of your own time. But most people are terrible businessmen. They leave the mine open.
They let anyone walk in and take what they want. You must be De Beers. You must put your time in a vault. When someone asks for your attention, do not give it freely. Make them pay. They pay with respect. They pay with reciprocity. They pay with effort. If they don't pay, the vault stays closed.
Modern luxury brands have mastered this. Look at Hermès. If you walk into a store with $20,000 cash and ask for a Birkin bag, they will not sell it to you. They will tell you there's a waiting list. They will tell you that you need to build a purchase history first. You have to qualify to spend your money.
Look at Ferrari. They purposely produce fewer cars than the market demands. Enzo Ferrari famously said, "Always build one less car than the market wants." This gap between supply and demand creates a frenzy. It turns a product into a status symbol. If anyone could buy a Ferrari, nobody would want a Ferrari. Apply this to your social life. Be the Ferrari. When someone invites you out last minute, say no, even if you are free. Why? Because high-value people are not sitting around waiting for things to happen. They have plans. If you accept a last-minute invite, you are signaling that your time was worth zero until they called. By saying no, you signal that your time is booked. Next time, they will ask you a week in advance. They will respect the waiting list. Why does this work? Is it just arrogance? No, it is biology. It comes down to one molecule, dopamine. Most people think dopamine is the chemical of pleasure. It is not. It is the chemical of seeking. It is the fuel of the chase. Dopamine is released when we want something, not when we get it.
In the 1950s, psychologist B.F. Skinner discovered the most addictive pattern in nature, variable reward. If a rat presses a lever and gets food every time, it gets bored. It only presses when hungry. But if the rat presses the lever and gets food randomly, sometimes yes, sometimes no, the rat becomes obsessed. It will press the lever until it dies of exhaustion.
This is why bad boys and toxic partners are addictive. They are variable rewards. Sometimes they text back instantly. Hit. Sometimes they disappear for 3 days. Miss. This creates a prediction error in your brain. Your brain goes into overdrive trying to solve the pattern. Does he like me? Is he busy? What did I do wrong? This uncertainty spikes dopamine. When you are always available, you are the predictable lever. You are boring. When you are scarce, you are the slot machine. You are addictive. Robert Greene's 16th law states, "Use absence to increase respect and honor." There is a cycle to all relationships, presence and absence. Presence builds the connection. Absence builds the romance. You cannot have fire without air. If you smother the flame with constant presence, it dies. Think of the concept of the star. Stars are distant. Stars are cold. You cannot touch them. When a creator disappears, like Frank Ocean or Daft Punk, the fans go wild. Because we don't know what they're doing, we assume they're doing something important. Distance creates a canvas for the imagination. When you are gone, people create a fantasy version of you in their heads, and the fantasy is always better than the reality. In relationships, you must institute a withdrawal phase. If you feel that you are being taken for granted, disappear. Stop initiating, stop planning, go dark. Create a void. If they value you, they will rush to fill that void. The anxiety of losing you will reset their appreciation. If they don't fill the void, then you know your value was already zero and you were just servicing a corpse. Finally, we must understand psychological reactance. Human beings hate losing freedom. When an option is restricted, we want it more. This is Romeo and Juliet psychology. The forbidden fruit is always the sweetest.
In business, the strongest position is the willingness to walk away. If your boss knows you need the job to pay your mortgage, you have no scarcity. You are a captive resource. But if you have savings, if you have other offers,
If you are scarce, you are dangerous. They know that if they push you too far, you will vanish. This fear of loss forces them to treat you with respect. You must always be ready to kill the deal.
Scarcity is not about being mean. It is not about playing games. It is about respecting yourself enough to know that your time is a finite resource. You are not water. You are not infinite. You are a diamond, and diamonds belong in a vault.
Do not be afraid of the silence. Do not be afraid of the empty chair. That space is where your value grows. Be the prize, not the contestant. To master the economics of the self, subscribe to Umbra Decode. Make them starve.